Al Capone, American Mafia leader and icon of the Prohibition era. Al Capone is one of the most iconic figures in American Mafia history. Born in 1899 in New York, Capone grew up on the crime-ridden streets of Brooklyn during his early years. He entered the world of crime at a young age and rose to prominence as a major Mafia leader after moving to Chicago. Capone's career peaked during the Prohibition era of the early 1920s in the United States. He took control of the Chicago outfit, a notorious crime syndicate, and amassed great wealth through illegal alcohol trade, gambling establishments, raids, and other criminal activities. The image he cultivated around himself became that of a character who inspired both fear and admiration. However, Capone's notoriety in the criminal underworld also drew the attention of federal authorities. He first faced charges of tax evasion and was eventually convicted in 1931 after years of being pursued as a criminal mastermind. Capone was sentenced to 11 years in prison for tax evasion, marking the end of his reign in the criminal world. After his release from prison, Capone struggled with health issues and died in Florida in 1947. Yet, even after his death, he continued to maintain a significant place in popular culture and the history of the criminal underworld. His life is viewed as a dark side of the American dream, while he is also remembered as a skilled organizer and charismatic leader. The story of Al Capone provides an important window into the complexity of the criminal world and the social and economic dynamics of America during the early 20th century Prohibition era. Even today, research and works on Al Capone's life and influence continue to keep our interest in crime history alive. St. Valentine's Day Massacre, recognized as one of the bloodiest events associated with Al Capone and in the criminal world, took place on February 14, 1929, in Chicago. This event marked a turning point, showcasing Capone's ruthless struggle against his rivals and his power in the world of crime. Conflicts between the North Side Gang, led by George Bugs Moran, a rival gang in Chicago, and Capone's Chicago outfit, had been escalating. In 1929, Moran's men had raided Capone's gambling dens and liquor warehouses. In retaliation, Capone devised a deadly plan against Moran. On the morning of February 14, 1929, Capone's men received information that Moran's associates would gather in a garage. Disguised in police uniforms, Capone's men arrived at the garage where Moran's men were present, lined them up against a wall, and then opened fire, wielding their firearms. This brutal attack resulted in the deaths of 7 individuals, members of Moran's gang, an associate, and a passerby. The remaining bullets at the scene exacerbated the damage to the victims' bodies. Police and the public reacted with shock and horror, and the St. Valentine's Day Massacre became etched in history as one of the darkest moments of Capone's criminal empire and Chicago's underworld. The St. Valentine's Day Massacre serves as a pivotal event in crime history, highlighting Al Capone's notorious leadership style and his influence in the world of crime. The murder of Jaime Weiss, Capone's rivalry, intensifies. The killing of Jaime Weiss, one of Al Capone's rivals, was a significant event that escalated tensions in the Chicago underworld. Weiss was the leader of the Irish North Side Gang in northern Chicago and was considered one of Capone's primary adversaries. In October 1926, Capone's men launched an attack during an evening dinner at Schofield's Flower Shop on the west side of Chicago, where Weiss was dining. Several armed men stormed into the restaurant during the meal and opened fire on Weiss and his associates. Weiss was severely wounded in the attack, but managed to survive. Following this incident, the conflicts between Weiss's gang and Capone's men intensified further. The bloody clashes between the two gangs contributed to a surge in crime waves and created a wave of serious violence on the streets of Chicago. The assassination of Jaime Weiss in November 1926 remained a testament to the ruthless struggle between Capone and his rivals in the Chicago outfit. These events played a significant role in the rise of Capone's criminal empire and the complexity of the crime world in Chicago. Al Capone, despite amassing a substantial fortune from illegal activities, became a target of federal authorities due to tax evasion charges. In 1931, Capone stood trial for federal tax evasion charges. The court proceedings garnered significant media attention at the time, capturing the public's interest. Capone's lawyers vehemently denied the charges, asserting his innocence. However, federal authorities sought to prove that Capone had not reported millions of dollars in income and had evaded taxes. Capone's defense intensified the gravity of the case, posing a significant test on how justice would be administered, given his impact in the world of crime. Ultimately, Capone was found guilty of tax evasion and sentenced to 11 years in prison. This trial marked the pinnacle of Capone's criminal empire's decline and underscored the United States' commitment to law and order in combating crime. Al Capone's death, the end of an era in American crime. Al Capone, renowned as one of the most infamous figures in American crime history, remained a significant part of the underworld until his death. On January 25th, 1947, Capone passed away at his residence on Palm Island, Florida. His death was attributed to health issues such as syphilis and early onset dementia. Additionally, health problems acquired during his time in prison had further complicated his later years. Capone's death marked the end of an era in American crime history. Even after his passing, Capone's legacy continued to leave a profound impact on both the criminal world and popular culture. His life is remembered as a dark facet of the American dream and as one of the dramatic figures in the world of crime.